What's up, YouTube? So, catching up on Cherry Bomb a little bit. Haven't done a whole lot with him. Well, I have. We got this one repaired. Let me show you. I finally got this all welded in, welded up. I do need to touch up a few places that I couldn't see. So I'll probably grind them down and fill them in. There's a couple pinholes that didn't weld all the way through. Or should I say I didn't fill up the plug weld very good. Started on this tonight, cut it out. It actually isn't too awful bad. I don't know if I can, you can still see some of the paint and stuff in there, but I do have to replace a few panels, or make a few patch panels for that right there for the strut tire and the frame rail. We got the 415 on this side right here. I got to remove the other fender over there. Wash it real good, scuff it, wash it again. Put the 415 on it, but I've got to do that after I fix this frame rail. Guys, we're almost ready for some suspension. And we got some things in today for that. We got our all new stainless steel brake line kit. Of course, I think I went over this stuff already. Just solid motor mounts, just bolts. I don't even remember what's in that, but got that stuff for it. A rear brake line, the rubber brake line from the bracket to the rear end. Just some suspension stuff. Now, I don't plan on keeping the stock front end on this car, but for now, we're gonna make it as good as we can because it'll probably be on there for maybe a year or so before we go tubular. These are the front spring rubber pads, isolators, whatever. This come out of my brake line kit. Oh, excuse me. New stabilizer links for the front sway bar. What are these? They got new ball joints. All new hardware. We got rear control arm bolts, K-member bolts, front control arm bolts. We've got front control arm bushings. So the reason I went with this, it frees up the movement of the control arms a lot better versus the rubber ones, the stock ones, you know. Well, the stock ones, you don't tighten the control arm bolts till you get all the weight on it. And then you tighten them down, you know, at neutral, when it's sitting neutral. These, it doesn't matter. So whenever you tighten the stock ones down, it kind of keeps the control arms at it just doesn't move as freely as it does with the urethane bushings. That's all. So let me see. These might also be control arm bushings. Okay, no. These are the rear spring isolator pads. This is the rear brake line bracket that goes over top of the stump of the rear end that centers up the brake line so you can run dual exhaust versus coming out the passenger side. New K-member hardware kit. So that's what these are. Now, I believe these are front control arm bolts. And I 100% believe that these are also front control arm bolts, along with the rear. I sure did get a lot of bolts, is all I'm going to say. Got a ton of bolts. I ordered rear control arm bolts, I ordered front control arm bolts, and I ordered K-member bolts. But I've got enough bolts, that's for sure. Back on it, I just wish this weather would cooperate. It's about 16 degrees outside right now. And supposedly, the Miata is leaving Saturday. I need to hurry up and get Cherry Bomb on these wheels, get a big fresh red paint coat on him, get a motor in him, go to what was supposed to be the original 606 garage. So we will be relocating the videos to a different garage because the videos that I'm going to be doing are going to continue with Cherry Bomb. We're getting close to drag racing season. So this is going to be my main focus. But in the meantime, I'm getting my black T-Tops car in here, getting started on it, and try to wrap that up. And I got to fix the roof on it and get it sprayed. Hopefully by then it'll be 60 degrees outside instead of 12. All right, guys, we're back at it. Where we at? It's coated pretty good with rusty metal primer. Got my patch cut out here. Now this is for the strut tower. Then I gotta make my patch for the frame rail. Welded in there pretty good. Grind it up. And we're gonna start finishing our cleanup here on the inside. And I've gotta make now when I paint this, I was just playing, but I still gotta clean up here. I've got to hit this with a welder, hit that with a welder, make a patch here, fix this. And I'm going to redo these, clean these up a little bit. And that one right there, I don't know what I was doing when I did that one there, but that's just too ugly. So, but yeah, I'll have all this together. And hopefully try to get this thing to where I can paint it this weekend. Alright, sorry about the noise. This is the next day. I did spot in a couple of tacks. If you notice, I took a spot weld cutter and I drilled into the, and I had these measured. I always want to pre-measure. But I measured where I needed to be, and I've actually drilled into the old spot welds that was on it previously, so I can weld this back in. So I'm gonna weld these two back in, grind that off, finish sewing all this up right here, and then cut my piece to go back across here, slick it up, and then we're gonna move on to the next one. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with this hole here. I might try to fill it in. I don't know yet. But other than that, my main thing was strength, and I think I'm going to get it right here. All right, so we got this welded in, kind of laid in a little bit there, and I don't want to grind it too much because I still want it thick. Got these plug welded in. It's actually sewed up all the way around. I got to take a cutoff wheel and edge this up, put a nice edge on it to lay this piece of metal in, and weld it up. I'll probably just take like a little, probably take my finger and put some filler in there, or just a little bit of filler, and sand it down to make it look fairly decent. Because there's nothing worse than opening up a engine bay and seeing a bunch of gaudy welding all over the place. Like, tell me you've had problems without saying it. All right, guys, sorry about the noise. I've got the propane heater on. But here's my patch I was talking about. Keeps it looking factory. I just got to plug weld it in a few places here, just for whatever reason. I just got to sew this up right here, sew it up across the bottom and up the side. And I've got to drill and put I think 2, maybe 4 plug welds to weld back to that top plate on top of the frame rail, where the pinch sleeves are for the K-member. I'm gonna finish this up and get this grinded up. All right, so I got the plug welds in. I'm just gonna grind them off, and this is pretty much done. YouTube. So we're out here working on the Cherry Bomb. Let's see what we got going on. So we got the engine bay somewhat painted. It's pretty much done. I was actually gonna paint this black down here. I didn't really mask anything up very good because I don't really care. Like I said, race car. But I am gonna take that out from inside and wash it off. But as far as the rest of it goes, eventually the heater box is gonna come out. But everything has turned out really good on this car. I couldn't be any more happier than how it come out. Now I went and took this to the car wash, pressure washed it, went over it with a wire wheel, and I just put a coat of Pour 15 semi-gloss on the bottom. Tomorrow I'll flip it over and do the top, and we're getting him ready to get installed in the engine bay. I'm sorry, under the engine bay. So, but other than that, I mean, it's coming along pretty good. You know, got this all Pour 15'd up. I don't know that it's going to do any good for anything, but you know, our main purpose for this car is just going to be run it down to the drag strip. Now, the reason I did not paint match the K member is because I don't intend for it to stay in this car. We are going to put a tubular cross member in it. I don't know if I'm going to buy one or I'm going to take the one out of the Capri, because the Capri ultimately is not going to be a drag car of any kind, and it's got some pretty expensive suspension under it. The only thing I would leave under the Capri, I would leave the struts on it, which are 70/30s. This car particularly was going to land with the 90/10s. But now I will say, after we're done playing with this car, drag racing, going through all the different combinations that are available, that I have, I'm sorry, all the combinations I have available to me, this will return to the street, because, you know, it is titled and everything. I will be putting the heater box, but now the heater box and AC coils in this thing now. I will be removing it later on. But when we go to put it back on the street, it will not go back with air conditioning. It will go back with a new heater core, new blower motor, because, you know, we like heat. And this car will probably end up with a decent sounding cam, a decent running motor, and 373s, 410s, something like that. That's probably where she'll land. 5-speed, weld wheels, you know, all that stuff. And it'll be another cruiser. I don't intend on building another car to race at the drag strip outside of this one. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I love the drag racing. It's very time consuming, and it's very expensive, and it can really consume you. So this is just gonna be the play car, and it may always end up being the weekend warrior. So that was just the purpose for this car. But we're making progress. That's it for this video. I hope you like what we've done so far. Hopefully, we'll have the engine sitting in this car sometime next week. I actually should have the K member bolted under this thing Sunday. And actually, if I get some stands together and get my oil pump and the oil pan of my motor and all the other little things together on it, we might just drop it down in here. But first things first, I'm still waiting on a new brake booster. My master cylinder is in, my radiator hoses are in, all my stainless steel brake lines are in. I'm waiting on a throttle cable. It should be in. But this, for the most part, everything on this car is going to be pretty much brand new. I did not intend for it to happen like this. You know, these things, this was supposed to have been a budget build. And it's been a budget, all right. So, like I said, every time I turn around, this week I spent $500 on this car. And that was the radiator hoses, brake booster, master cylinder. I did buy a couple sets of headers to try. You know, we've got a slew of headers we're going to run in this car to see if it actually makes any difference. Shorties, equal lengths, whatever. I think the most you're going to see out of it is just possibly a sound difference. But we're going to try them all, you know. It's just, we're going to try them all. And hopefully we can land in a, hopefully we put together a combination that you like, the way you like it to sound, and you'll know exactly what we have done to the car. And there'll be plenty of different combinations in this car. This is a test car. So guys, thanks for following along. Thanks for hanging out with me. And man, we're getting awful close to race season here. Now, like, I'm not going to be racing this car. I'm not going to be racing against anybody. This is going to be a test and tune car. We might hit a couple trophy nights to see if we can, we might run for a trophy a few times. You know, once we get the car dialed in pretty good. Might have a little fun with that. I don't think it costs much more to do that. So we'll see what happens. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Peace.